This transmission is about humanity, our matrix, this reality. Yes, we're all collectively creating, but if we're creating as half of who we are, if we are creating, like some of us are here on certain journeys of self-mastery, realizing who we are, that we have an eternal divine self, and that we need to come together with that and remember we are never separate. And then when we realize we are never separate, that inner knowing pulls it into our reality. It pulls it into us. Yet, depending on our trauma, we can push it away. We can absolutely push it away when it's here and feel like it is not real, not for us. And this is about backing it up a little bit to really examine what false beliefs and illusions make us self-sabotage, make us believe the lies that we are not divine, that we are not worthy. I don't care about who bullied us. I don't care about who lied to us, or that, in my opinion, the way I've been seeing it and getting messages about it from my own higher monadic eternal self, this is actually a disservice, right, to all of humanity. We're all, you can see it on Gaia, you can see it all over the internet, depending on your algorithm, but we are eternal divine beings having a human experience. A lot of people say that this is a trap, like our souls become trapped here. Some believe that this is a school of, ascension and remembering. And depending on where you're at in your journey, that is true. Like whatever perception you're going to have, that is what you can hold and understand about our reality. So whoever receives this, listens to it, even energetically, it is worth it to put this information out, because I've been noticing, especially in my situation, all I need to do is imagine, have the feelings of something, and all of a sudden there's a song that like Taylor Swift wrote, and it's a #1 hit, and it's the exact words and the message of what I'm going through. So we need to start looking at things like, that's one good way. That's one perception. That's one lens to help us unravel this web of illusion, that we are not eternal divine beings, that we are incapable, that we just need to settle and work these low-paying jobs that drain our life force and drain our creativity. No, that is not what God intended for us. That is not our birthright. Our birthright is to reclaim these aspects of ourselves and to bring the masculine and the feminine together as a whole again. That division, what is talked about like in the Garden of Eden, when Eve and Adam did what they did, okay, that caused, it's a metaphor, in my opinion, the way it was shown to me, the way I'm understanding it, it's a metaphor, just like anything else. We've heard other people talking about it, yet the way I'm saying it and the way it's coming through to me, so real. It's like, it's time for us to heal the deception, even if it's self-deception. We don't have to run around with, slinging insults and blame, because again, that is, what kind of a territory is that? If metaphorically we're taught Biblically, we are taught that the great accuser is Satan, right? It's the devil. So let's not get caught up in casting blame, because we all know that it can come back to us. Our jobs are to just create from love, from God's eternal love, to create from that place. What happens, the things that they talk about with energy harvesting or stealing somebody's destiny. What is this destiny swapping? It is actually just our mindsets and what we can perceive or not perceive clearly, believing the lies. Like, I'm going to be honest, this kind of self-mastery part, test, whatever you want to call it, that I'm experiencing in my reality right now, it goes beyond cycles. This is about loving the self, expressing from our childlike innocence, seeing. Okay, that's what God is. God wants us to see through His eyes like the eternal children that we are. We are His children. So what, we only get so long here? We could stay eternal children if we could hold on to that innocence and that wonder, that magic of childhood. However, that gets shut off because of the programming, the school, and children, especially all of our beautiful, crystal children and indigo children, and there's a lot more. What are they called? Star children. There are so many all over the planet that want their voices back. It starts with us. It starts with, instead of micromanaging and trying to forcefully control and program our children to do as we have done. It's almost like passing a baton, yet the baton is reminding them who they are. They already know, but depending on the paradigm you are creating and existing in, maybe you're not creating it, maybe it was created for you. So therefore, if you are living and existing in a paradigm that was created for you, handed over to you, creating your narrative for you, then the things that are out of the things that are in alignment with you in that paradigm are falling in line and going with what everybody else says. When that flips and you start realizing you are the creator, you're co-creating. That is what God wanted for us, to see through God's eyes, to see everybody as eternal divine blessings that they are. Then it opens up other opportunities of using and being in flow and creating that bridge between the left and right hemispheres of the brain, creating that bridge between heaven and earth, creating the bridge between the divine masculine and divine feminine. So our egos have to be dropped. Our fears, our past, our worries, everything that we were programmed with almost needs to be programmed back out of us. And that is what I'm here to talk about. This is more about, once you use your own, step into your own power, using your voice and your beliefs. Okay? Don't use a belief that somebody else gave you. What do you believe? And a lot of us don't know what to do with that. I know I was at that point a couple of times, because we're so used to being spoon-fed what to think, what to feel, what to believe, what to do. We take everyone else's advice. But when we stop and listen to our own intuition, our own inner guidance, our body, our nervous system, we start to see through the false matrix, and it begins to glitch, which starts a domino effect, and it crumbles. And what is birthed is the wholeness, the unity that is bringing heaven on earth. Yes, this is about mastering what you're being called to conquer. Okay, whether those are inner demons, inner false beliefs, feeling separate from yourself, your divine essence, and bringing that back into harmony, restoring balance, which restores your paradigm that you experience. There are breakthroughs coming. You will understand your soul's purpose. In addition, right now in these cycles, the karma, cause and effect, when you have affected people negatively, say, whether you did it on purpose, you didn't, you were listening to others and it caused, again, another domino effect, right? Because whatever is done in the cycles, it's not really coming from inner alignment anyway with our soul, with our higher purpose. So the way that we would take the karma and we flip it into dharma by sharing ourselves, by creating and sharing the wisdom in one way or another. Share your wisdom, share the lessons, share what you're learning. It doesn't matter if it's, a lot of people want to charge for it, but ultimately it's your dharma. So do what you will with it, because things will just start to flow when you're in your dharma. You're not going to have to put price tags. You're not going to have to take classes of $8,000 price tags on them to have your breakthrough. We can all do this together. We can all help each other freely and step into heaven on earth. This paradigm. We're shifting paradigms, and many of you already know. Right now, you might be going through something that looks like a lot of chaos. Again, these things are not here. First of all, they're false. It's not real, so don't buy into them. Don't collapse them. Don't get emotionally attached to what you're experiencing right now, especially if you feel, for me, there's a lot, like fears of and issues about losing your home, your vehicle, your inner child, your soul to, because you're not making the right decisions, finances, your job, everything is shifting. Your health, okay, the way you feel, the way taking care of your own family, forcing us to not only stand up and face these things. Instead of running, turn around and face it. Don't run, don't walk away, turn around and say what you need to say, do what you need to do, look at it for a minute in a unattached way, remaining calm. That is something I've been seeing and hearing and realizing. There is peace that we can all tap into and create and feel and have beyond survival mode. And it comes from this shift of, I don't care if you feel like you have no money. Whatever you can do, get creative, be resourceful. And what that means, resourceful, doesn't mean taking all your things and forcefully putting them on Craigslist or whatever. Be resourceful, be creative regarding what you've been through. Whatever, if we have nothing in our bank account, how do you create flow again? Flow, this balanced exchange of give and take. How do you create flow? It's by getting in flow. It is by remaining calm and keep grounding ourselves, recentering, facing the scary illusions that we are being forced to face right now at this time if we're going to make the shift. And sometimes, in my situation, it was about a lot of poison, let's just say, that was in my own cup, my own eternal cup of love. It was stagnant. It was dirty. There was probably mosquitoes brewing up in there and some tadpoles, God knows what. It's like when your heart is filled with trauma and you are so constricted that you can't love. You can't feel love. You can't receive love. You're afraid of it. People, yes, have harmed you, but let's dissect that a little bit. Why do you think that might be? It's definitely something we had to go through so that we could master it and no longer allow it to control us or keep us silenced or keep us from loving, giving, or receiving, or trusting. And if you have been through any kind of dark night of the soul, whether you know it's a dark night or not, whether you know you're here to awaken, to remember your divine soul's purpose, and the fact that you're just here to create as a divine creator, that we are, like, we're here to remember our divine eternal essence. And the more and more people that do that and come out and speak and share about that, it is what is creating the shift for everyone. So if you feel like I went through a point in time where I felt like a targeted individual, you will, because any way you look at it, whether you look at it through Gnostic text, whether you look at it through biblical text, whether you look at it through like Buddhism, or it doesn't even matter, mythology even, it's all going to feel synchronistic, and that is because you're tapping into your divine source self. You are tapping in, you are remembering, and when you look around and nobody else around you is remembering and you're the only one, it feels scary. It almost brings shock to our nervous systems, to our logical left brain, which can it can completely shut down our creativity when our left brain is in survival and panic. Like, let's think about this. So some things that help with like sympathetic and parasympathetic shock would be, even journaling, but stretching, dancing, swimming, artwork, music, sometimes just breathing, closing our eyes, telling ourselves it's okay to feel this. I'm not going to push you away. I'm not going to cut you off. I'm not going to run from you, and I'm not going to tell you you don't belong here, because for whatever reason you're here, right? For whatever reason you are feeling that emotion, it doesn't mean that you have to claim it. You just have to recognize it and tell it it's okay. See what it wants. What does it want to show you? Because a lot of us are here at this time feeling unsafe to speak, unsafe to feel the things that we feel, unsafe to have the thoughts that we have been having. And it makes us and pushes us more out of alignment and into survival, into terror. But when we are at that point where we're seeing things, we're recognizing, but we don't realize what we're recognizing, but we're recognizing our own divinity being mirrored back to us without having any reference to what's happening. We can get some bad information out there. Not every person who is online has the exact answer, but it might seem like that. It might feel like that. Just like I said before, you could be reading the Bible. You could be reading any ancient text, and they're all going to, you're going to find something in this, you're going to find something in that. It's all going to feel relatable and too synchronistic. Like it's not coincidental. However, the only thing you need to realize is that the fear, although it feels real, that is the point of attachment. That is the illusion. Because again, Source, God, our Creator, did not give us the spirit of fear. So that is coming from the illusion, the false matrix that is currently being, I don't want to say torn down. I want to say we're shifting from fear to love. And it takes a village, and it takes a lot of encouragement, a lot of assistance sometimes, even if it's only coming from you. Just be careful what you hear on the internet. It is what you hear on the internet. Anything could relate is what I'm saying, but you have to learn what feels right to you, what feels in alignment to you. And sometimes that can be completely shut down and you go through this grief period. When you're out of alignment, it feels like a lot of heavy grief. And as soon as you start to recognize, okay, well, this was in alignment, this is not in alignment with me, this is not, you will start to restore your own peace and what feels like sanity. When you are so far out of your divine calling, when you're out of alignment with your divine essence, you can become confused. You can feel like you're going crazy, like you're just ruining, like you're spiraling downwards. You could fall into traps of shame, guilt, absolute fear, lack, and all that will do is create more of the same. So if you have nothing else to offer, just listen to the words that I'm telling you right now. Don't believe the illusion. Don't believe the guilt. Don't believe the shame. Don't believe the doubt telling you, oh, it never worked in the past. You're like, all of those things are from your past. And again, one of the stories in the Bible, I remember, it was like, basically, you're not supposed to turn around and look back. When God frees us, run. Run forward. Don't run away. Walk forward, run forward. Do not look back and keep referencing with what happened in your past. Because in your past, that's your past. It's there for a reason. But you can exalt your past by speaking and sharing it with people. And that will turn your karmic past into the exalted form, which is Dharma. So karma into Dharma. It's just teaching. It's just sharing what happened, being vulnerable, allowing people to hear what happened, what you saw, what you sensed, what you've been through, how you took this turn and then that turn. You don't have to make it into a business right away. Like, don't overthink that, because that is what happened to me, and it became complete analysis paralysis. Just share, just pick up your notes app, record, do whatever. Send prayers to people, brighten somebody's day. When we are in service to others, it's almost like they say in AA, like when you start working the program, it changes you from the inside out. But it is a discipline, and it reprograms us into almost a higher version of who we were when we were, say, a drug addict or an alcoholic. And I right now am sober. I have background in that. I was addicted to pain pills, and then I was on Suboxone for 13 years. So this is not like a dig or a negative label on anyone. That's how the program works. AA is onto something. And the thing is, it's because you start disciplining yourself. You go through steps. So there's work to be done there, looking at your flaws, looking at the mess you created, and then making a decision to no longer be that person, but instead start doing things more focused on service and in connection to your higher power. That's why it works. It's a community, and I don't care what community you need to be part of. Find something that works for you. But if you are, I don't hear AA talk a lot about spiritual awakenings or remembering our divinity or creating our own reality, but that's why it will work, again, depending on what level of consciousness you are experiencing reality from, what lens, what perception. That's where sometimes these online communities are helpful, but it is absolutely helpful to have people in your life that support, that understand like real community, in the physical community, not just online. Because with AI and things like that, it's hard to tell. Plus, when you are feeling like a targeted individual, I can attest to that too, went through it a couple of times. And you don't trust anybody. You just shut down. Your nervous system is wrecked. You can't create anything positive because you are running. But what we're running from sometime, or what it is we're running from our shadow. And our shadow just wants attention. It just wants us to see it and to ask what it wants. What does it need? What do you need to overcome? What do you need to heal? What do you need to support? What do you need to hold? Is there an aspect of yourself that you need to hold and say, I love you, but you don't have to protect me anymore? Or we went through this together and I know why you're here because of the experience, but I don't want to experience this anymore. So now let me just tell you, basically, you can take a seat here. You don't need to be so loud. You don't need to, but that's what happens when our nervous system is screaming at us. And this happens when we first get sober too, because me coming off of Suboxone after 13 years, nervous system is and was like a nightmare. But if we can detach from the idea and the illusion that we are just these physical bodies, then we can shorten the side effects but we have to detach from the belief. Like if you have a belief that, okay, well, I'm an addict and all the research I've done says that I'm going to go through X, Y, or Z withdrawals, then you will, because that is your belief. And sometimes we're being shaken to our core because it's time. It is time for us to awaken and remember we are part of divine source. We have that in us. We are allowed to be that, but we were programmed somehow, like I said, just believing lies from whatever else is going on here in our reality that gets passed down to us. So we're taught certain things, and then how people treat us. It's a snowball effect. If we feel unworthy, if we're shy, if we don't want to stand out, if we want to be invisible, you feel that way long enough, the universe, the matrix reflects it back to you. It gives you exactly not what you want deep, deep, deep inside. Say you want to be seen, you want to be accepted deep, deep at your core. But what is the main signal you're putting out? The main signal you're putting out is hide, take cover. I don't want to be noticed. I don't want people to approach me. So people won't. It's about the main frequency that you can hold and sustain every day. So this is a practice. It is not a perfection. It's a practice. It's not doing, it's being. And it's a practice. That means we have to work at it every day until it becomes who we are.